and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some Orzhov bats. It's really mono white splashing Amalia because this card gives us a lot of value and the deck really relies on it and then Guided by Light here to draw extra cards and look at extra cards. But with that said, we're just playing some life gain. This deck has a very high win rate according to Untap, so we'll see how much that rings true here today and we'll just get right into the games. Okay. Sure, why not? Why not, bro? Are we in the mirror? That's cringe. That is so cringe. I hope you enjoy the mirror, brother. Shelter, maybe. Ooh, no. I'm doing this. We'll pass on that. We're looking for land here, pretty much. And now it's more of like, if they go for like a shelter line, what we can do is we can shelter back, taking the shelter, which causes like a really weird game. Because then it's like, oh, does somebody else find a shelter first? And nobody knows what's going on. As you can see, they immediately do that. Nope. They're going to get a good hit in here. But we're going to do literally basically the same thing on the back end. Obviously, if we rip a land would be best. Because that means we can then go shelter. Oh, nice. Shelter. We actually want to target the shelter. They seem like mono white. This now enters. Amalia triggers. That's pretty good. Play here. Pretty good here overall, like we said. Now we gain 6 life. Oh, I had vigilance because I lost life. I literally just I had vigilance because I lost life, but the ley lines come in. Why did I think that was tapped? But damage and life happens all at the same. It's a really weird thing. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about how that stuff works. Then destroy all creatures if its power is exactly 20. Okay. Now, me and my opponent are in a very weird game. They can actually attack here with everything. But it's a bit weird. Because they would lose their Chandler. Deal. But as you see, all my creatures get smaller. Here. Here. Be uppy. We're basically just getting to the point that our Amalia is going to explode something, right? It's a weird one. Healer Hawk, sure. What to do? Our life total is so high, it doesn't really matter. Sure. Go here. Life. Amalia. I'll bend that now. Alright. We kind of just wanted to gain a life to, or draw a card actually, more than anything. We'll just bottom that as well. Pass. Take a draw. Nice. So the thing that's weird is when this Amalia ability resolves, we get this problem of which I lose all my creatures, so overcommitting my creatures is actually kind of bad. But it's going to be a while since I've ever thought I'm going to resolve an Amalia, which I think we're pretty much guaranteed to do it. Because if I play here and it hits a creature immediately, we do nothing else, right? Because then the second one will hit that creature, and then both of these will gain life at combat, and then Amalia will like trigger and do all that nonsense. Sure. But Amalia gonna win this game. Alright, at least we get to look more. Vanguard. Does it hit immediately? Be huge. It's a land, a little unfortunate. We need... Okay, so we do hit now. Go here. Sucks to have to do that, but it just is what it is. And then now I just play like this land tapped. I pass. This triggers. Amalia now is going to hit 20 life. We want to destroy all creatures. Now I just have an Amalia in play. Then playing Giant Primate. Sure. 26 on board. Very cool. Very cool. It was weird because like I know how that combat works, where damage happens and then that instantly checks as the life's gained, which means the creature instantly gets the pump. But I definitely attacked into it thinking it was tapped for some reason. I don't know. Always gotta love the Amalia stars. I could have not taken a damage here, but whatever. Fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I'm passing. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm passing. Sure. You know what they have to take? Sure. Here. Don't need another 4-drop. Or don't need the 4-drop, I guess, not another 4-drop. There we go. Sure. Seems like a good card to me. Here's 8 of it. So now, what if they go like Slasher here, right? Can I somehow get this all the way up if it hits? Probably not, right? So we go to 8. Oh, sure. About the rest of what I got going on. No. Only really want to draw that after, right? We're in. I guess I probably should have just played the Steel Courtyard, but we won. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Change 2 here. Let's just pass. We have so many 1-drops in our deck, like we can just probably wait. Sure. Does seem like a decent matchup for us. So let's go warp here. It'll gain 2, and then we play Healer Hawk, which will then gain 2 more. And then now this will draw us a card, which is pretty sweet. And then we can just play this and attack, which will gain us 4 more, and then she'll draw another card. Obviously, unless they snipe my Healer's Hawk. No blocks. Go here. We're going to stick to our game plan right now. Especially with 2 Shelter by Ghost, our next couple turns can just be really hard for them to actually keep up and beat. Especially the fact that if this is online, we have a lot going for us on the fact that we can draw pretty much every turn. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Man, just our end step does suck a bit, but that's gone. Sure, they lose a lot of life to do that. Pretty big gap to try to keep up with by doing that. We go to 19. What do we rip here? Another Pride Mate. Another, I guess not a Pride Mate, but a Pride Mate adjacent, right? So Pride Mate down. So Chandler here. 1. Just for our kind of namesake, remember we can always tap this forcefully to make us take a damage, so this will get flying and vigilance, which is very important in these matchups. We always kind of want to make sure we do that just in case. Unstoppable slashers, sure. Now they hold the line. White. Here. Here. Go here. Counters around. We're up. On the 5 they go. 28. Our whole board's going to get larger. Yeah, I was gonna say the ley line is going to be active, and then if we really want to pump our entire board, we'll just play a second ley line. Oh no, it's Demir. I do get to start off with an Amalia, which can help generate a ton of value. And neither of us started off with the ley line, so obviously the life gain train is going to be a bit weird. A Shelter is huge, so we're going to play Amalia. We might get Amalia to basically win the same way we did last time. We'll take that. That's fine. Although it is we're gonna take a big crack from homeboy here. Could always sacrifice my Hinterland to it, I suppose, but that doesn't seem great. Sure. All right, they basically put everything out. This Primate's going to really give us a shellacking. Nah, we'll take it. Not pumped about it, but we'll take it. Here. Here. That's mine. We want 1 counter here. We got it. Leyline might be important enough to keep. Leyline might be, like I said, Leyline might just be important enough to keep. We just want to gain a lot of life here. Kind of bridge that gap. I'm going to keep it just for the fact that I can go Helena here for 1 and then go right into the Chandler. Seems good. Or depending kind of how this goes, I guess it's possible. No? I think with this ley line on top, they kind of see the importance of what we're thinking. It's actually better to play this, right? Pass on that. Need that action. Just want that land at some point, of course. Or we want the Amalia to trigger. We find the land, which is huge. We'll pass on that land, though. Nice. Now, if we find a land, which I guess if we would have kept that, we would have drew this. Then we would have drew this for turn, but we didn't know that. So we're going to obviously play towards the other kind of way. But with like Runelurker bats and stuff, we might be fine. I don't know. It's going to be a bit weird. The other thing is, with the Chandler, we can move our 4 counters over to Amalia. Also, we'll start that creature off pretty large, but we'll have to see. That's tough. What? They don't take the shelter? That feels nuts to me. I mean, this is actually a really bad attack because we end up gaining more than they deal damage to us. Not a great one. Maybe they just wanted, I guess, their Runelurker bat to trigger. Which I guess makes sense if they're really like, we need to find something. I just don't know if I agree with that decision, really. They're playing a little weird here. I want to play as Leyline. But I can also just play Helena. And then play... Pass on that. Pass. With as much life as I'm going to gain, it feels weird to not look for the land. Especially when Amalia can draw us a card off those, right? Lifelink bat in the air, sure. It's also really good here. I'm gonna draw that, most likely. Could have drew the card first. I didn't. I can't restack the triggers after. Could have drew the card because then I could have took a double scry to find the land. So when I play Leyline, I can go land and do everything. Sure. I can trade to flyers at this point now, in my mind. However, we are also very close for Amalia to just winning. Yeah, and they just give up. All right, cool. We'll try here. Anytime I have an Amalia, I'm really willing to try it, to be honest. Here, hopefully it lives. Because then it's Amalia, hit them, have Amalia trigger. No. Goblin bombardment. There. Nice. Now we go Amalia. Amalia is a very annoying card because Amalia can just block this. But we'll see what ends up happening. Casting bot. Awesome. Which typically probably means that they're holding some 3-drops here. 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 Yep. Here. We're willing to hold here. The thing I'm thinking they're playing is the 3-drop enchantment that gives everything a 1/1, and when creatures enter the battlefield, they do some damage. another Amalia, so I'm willing to just trade this. Sure. Deal. Deal, brother. Handler. Life gain. Amalia triggers. We're looking for Helena, or however you say her name now. She's by far our best draw. Or Shelter by Ghost, pretty good. Down to 13 they go. Like, I can't argue with the Shelter by Ghost when they're missing land drops, right? Sure. Here. Okay. Forgot to take damage here, but I don't really think it even matters. We are off to the races with this one. I'm not gonna lie, I am really enjoying playing Amalia again. This card got a really bad taste in his mouth when it came to playing Pioneer. Is people who play that format still exist, I think. Sorry to anybody that plays that format and really enjoys it. It's just, they just kind of don't care about you, brother. I don't know what to say. But our return most likely is to do this. Have it gain life, play here, gain life, attack, gain life. Sure. And we rip a land, which is pretty sweet. So our turn can actually be a bit different here. We go here for 1 life, unfortunately. Amalia triggers. We rip a land. Honestly, not that bad. Like, if Amalia hits a land, I'm pretty okay with it. Sure. We're in. And then we'll gain another life. Obviously, keep that card on top. And now we just get to draw it. Now I have 9, 10 damage on board. Maybe more. Maybe more. Nesting bot, sure. Sure. Now it's not even fair. Here. Here. You knew about the card. Why did we concede that? You saw it on top. Like, Amalia is a reveal. I can't just be like, oh, it's not a land. I'm putting a counter on Amalia. Like, I don't know. All right, so here we are with the kind of Orzhov bats. It doesn't play Deep Cavern Bat, but realistically, that's not necessarily needed. But I almost would feel better if I was playing it over some other things. Like, also, why? I have 4 of that one. Why? Whatever. But here we are with the list at the end. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this deck being all that good. I think it's good at lower tiers. I think it gets significantly worse the higher you go up and the better players are, because they realistically know that you can kind of stall out this a lot of times until you absolutely have to interact with it. And if they don't have to interact with it, they just won't until they need to. Because the thing that this deck struggles with, get board wiped 1 time. I'll see you in either a half an hour with a win, or you can just concede, move on, and hope you play against a better matchup next time. This is how it feels at the end of the day with this deck. And the other thing is, we did miss a couple of land drops. We do only play 20, but that did happen. One of my losses, which I just cut, was a 7-hand opener with 1 land. We go to 6, it has 1 land. We go to 5, it has 1 land, and then we just concede because we didn't draw land. And I was just like, all right, I guess if that's how we have to lose, we have to lose. It's whatever. I do think the ley line is not bad in here. I think it's actually good. I think this deck is held together by this card and Amalia. That's kind of why you have to play black, because if you don't have Amalia in your deck, this deck just doesn't do enough, which I think takes place in the very first game we played. You saw mono white against this deck, and we just had Amalia kind of doing everything we ever wanted. So you take that in mind. But other than that, this is an affordable deck, really. when it comes down to it, because obviously you can play mono white if you really want to and cut this. I don't really recommend cutting this card, but the lands are a bit expensive whenever you talk about rares and mythics or whatever, with 12 being in here. But other than that, these are all here, and if you cut Amalia and these, your rares really get dropped down a ton. So with that said, you can play it. Do I think it's all that great? Not really. I wouldn't use this to like grind to mythic ever. I would if I'm just like maybe playing on an iPad or something, and I don't really want to do a lot of like the mirror is kind of weird to play on your phone or your iPad, because sometimes you have to do weird pauses and you want to do things very specifically. This deck is like take your turn and then pass, you know what I mean? Like attack and then block, which is a lot easier. So, you know, if that's what you're looking for, or a deck to play on the treadmill, this is probably it. So with that said, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.